Welcome to day 12 of my 30 days of live streaming. It's actually 30 days of robotic affirming. 30 days of robotic affirming. And on some days, I'm doing the robotic affirmations on camera. Some days I'm affirming and doing robotic affirmations myself. And then on some days, we are just talking about manifestation in general. And today we're talking about a robotic affirmation success story. I've been going through Reddit quite a lot recently, just looking at different robotic affirming success stories. This one I didn't get from Reddit. This one I actually got from someone I know personally. And so I thought it would be quite cool to talk about this robotic affirming success story in today's stream, instead of doing like a how-to type of thing, or instead of doing a robotic affirming itself, or a prayer, a money manifestation or abundance prayer. I'm deciding today that I'm talking about a manifestation success story, specifically how a friend of mine, I'm going to call her Maya because I don't want to reveal her name, her real name, but she did give me the permission to tell this story, but just not giving her name. And so her name is Maya, okay? So this is where everything really took a turn for the worse for Maya. She was about to lose her home. So it was an afternoon where she sat down in her kitchen and there was a letter. And the letter was about how she would lose her home in the next 30 days. And she needed just over $10,000 to be able to prevent foreclosure. And so she sat down and she decided that this is the amount she needed because that's what she needed. The number felt very heavy for her at first, and she was a freelancer. So payments came in waves. They didn't come in steady streams. She wasn't a full-time worker or employee, and her savings pretty much gone. So what she did was she gave herself one evening to fully feel the fear, cried, walked around her house, calculated every possible scenario, and then the next morning she made a decision. She would not spend the next 30 days in panic. She would train her mind instead. So this is the powerful thing, making a decision. She made a decision that she was going to make enough money, and it's not even about she was going to make enough money. She decided that she already had that money, even though it wasn't in her 3D reality. She decided that it was already hers. She claimed that money, and this is the difference between someone who manifests quickly and someone who keeps on wavering back and forth. When you make a very strong and firm decision, there's redemptive power in making a strong decision, and standing by that decision. So it's not so much about I'm setting a goal to receive this money or to achieve this amount, to earn this amount of money. Maya made a very conscious decision that $10,000 was hers and that she would not lose her home. So she said she would spend the next 30 days She would not spend the next 30 days in panic. She would train her mind instead. So a few months earlier, she had learned about robotic affirming. But the concept sounded simple, but at the same time, it sounded a little bit far-fetched. So the goal was to repeat a statement consistently without emotion, without strain, until the mind accepts it as normal. No visualizations required, no forcing belief, just repetition. And it felt almost mechanical, and that appealed to her because she didn't have a lot of emotional energy actually to invest in this, because she was going through enough as it was. She was in survival mode. She did not have the energy to feel inspired either, and she needed something steady, something that she could just do robotically throughout the day and not think about it very much. What I like to do is I like to record my voice on the Parrot app. I don't know if you've heard of the Parrot app, but the Parrot app is an app that you can download on iPhone. I don't know if it's on Android, but you can download it and you can record your robotic affirmations in there, and you can just listen to it every second of the day. And so you'll find yourself whispering your robotic affirmations to yourself, even without thinking about it so much, because you're listening to it, you find yourself whispering it to yourself anyway. And so you can keep yourself in that state by constantly listening every single minute of the day. So, and you can even do it in such a way where it's very low, the volume is very low. And so you're constantly priming your subconscious mind without even realizing it. And you can also do marathons where you just sort of sit there and say your affirmations, or you can write them out. Personally, I don't speak my affirmations out loud. Like, I whisper them under my breath, and I write them down, and I like to listen in my headphones as well. So anyway, let's get back to the story. So, like I said, she didn't have the energy to feel inspired. So she chose one sentence. I received $10,000 easily and my home is secure. I received $10,000 easily and my home is secure. That was her robotic affirmation that she said. And so it meant every time she just would say, I received $10,000 easily and my home is secure. I received $10,000 easily and my home is secure. She wrote it on a piece of card and placed it in her pocket. And she set reminders on her phone every 2 hours. Each time the alarm sounded, she repeated the sentence quietly for 5 minutes. While washing the dishes, she repeated it. While driving, she repeated it. Before sleep, she repeated it until she drifted off. At first, her mind argued back. She would think to herself, this is unrealistic. You're behind, you should be worried. She did not fight the thought, she kept repeating the sentence. So this is the key here. It's not so much about fighting the thoughts and battling with your thoughts. It's about repeating continuously to push out the old story, and eventually that old story will disappear. I mean, it takes time, for, especially if you're really struggling with letting go of the old story. It can take a lot of time. But you know what? One thing you can also affirm is that you can affirm that manifestation is easy, and that every time you affirm, your manifestation comes in quickly and easily. And so if you think about it like that, it means you've assumed that manifestation is easy for you and that you're a master manifester. And so if you're looking at this from the standpoint of the law of assumption, what you assume to be true is true. Therefore, if you assume that manifesting money is easy for you, or manifesting generally is easy for you, and that you're a master manifester, then your manifestations are going to come quicker and easier, and with less anxiety. So by day 4, Maya, the person who I'm talking about in this story, the panic softened, and the number no longer felt sharp to her. It began to feel specific, clear, easy, and defined as well. She didn't feel scared that she wasn't going to get the money. She believed that it was already hers. Around day 7, something subtle shifted. She noticed ideas appearing without strain. She emailed 2 former clients to follow up on past proposals. She posted a reminder about her services on her professional page, and she reviewed an unfinished digital product she had abandoned months ago and saw how she could complete it quickly. She did not label these actions as inspired. They simply just felt obvious to her. So through it all, she continued the repetition, not with intensity, not with false belief, just steady rhythm. I received $10,000 easily and my home is secure. So she kept saying that because obviously she needed $10,000 to save her home. By the second week, a former client responded. They needed urgent project support and asked if she was available. The contract covered nearly half of what she needed. She accepted immediately and worked with focus she had not felt in months. So after the second week, she had a contract from a client that gave her almost $5,000. And that was through her sending out a proposal or reminder of a proposal that she had sent out. But the key here is that because she had made the decision that she already had this money and she was doing these affirmations and it was helping her to, it was priming her subconscious mind, and she believed that the money was already hers, it was already claimed, she calmly reached out to these former clients. She had the ideas, because often when you're in panic mode, it's like you can't think straight. You don't have the clarity. And so you don't even know what to do. You start sort of wavering and thinking, oh, is this going to be possible? Is this going to work out for me? I'm not sure what to do. You might sit around in panic mode for a while, not taking action because you have so much anxiety. But because she did these robotic affirmations, and she had made a clear and conscious decision that she was going to change her mindset, train her mindset, and completely turn things around, it was a no-brainer. So she kept affirming. A few days later, an old collaborator reached out about a revenue split opportunity tied to a course they had launched together the previous year. Sales had increased unexpectedly, and her portion covered another significant amount. She kept affirming, not because she felt desperate, but because it felt natural. During week 3, she finished and launched a small digital product she had received. That she had revised. Because earlier on I mentioned that she had a digital product that she needed to revise and make it better. She sent it to her modest email list without expectation, and sales trickled in daily. They weren't dramatic, not viral, but just consistent. When she calculated everything at the end of week 4, she stared at the number twice: $10,430. Wow. That's the exact amount she needed for to pay off her house, so that she didn't lose the house. She paid the outstanding amount and cleared the notice. The house felt different that evening, not because of the money, because of the shift inside her. So robotic affirming had not dropped cash from the sky. It had done something quieter. It had stabilized her nervous system. Here's the key. She had stabilized her nervous system and it replaced spiraling thoughts with one consistent directive. It had trained her attention towards solutions instead of fear. So this is the thing. A lot of the time you think of manifestation, it's like, oh, this woo thing, it doesn't work. Hi, Hessa. Hi, welcome. Some woo thing, it doesn't work. It's just something that, it's a lie. People just talk about this on the internet just to get views. It doesn't work. But you know what? The reason why this worked for her, and the reason why it works for a lot of people, is because it took her mind away from fear, her mind and body away from fear, and focused it towards a very, very clear and specific directive, which was $10,000. And so instead of her operating from fear, she was operating from a place of certainty, and she was thinking about solutions. Sorry for people talking in the background. I can't do anything about it. I don't know why these people are making so much noise. Let's manifest that they stop making noise and stop screaming outside my door. But anyway, she was operating from a place of certainty, and instead of her panicking, she was thinking about solutions instead. And those solutions were the right solutions, because she had such a clear mind, because after her constantly affirming, she had a clear mind about exactly what she needed. It wasn't so much about, oh, okay, I just want to make a bunch of money. She knew exactly how much she needed to make in order for her to avoid foreclosure. And that was $10,000. And that's the reason why when we say it's already done and I've already claimed it, thanks. When you say it's already done and I've already claimed it, think about it like this. The money exists in the world already. And so the money is yours. You've claimed that money. And what she did was take small action in order for her to gain access to that money. Imagine it being like a key. So doing the affirmations, the robotic affirmations, it helped her to find the key to open the box with the money inside. This is figurative, by the way. The affirmations, it helped her to stay so focused on that specific amount, and she eventually found the key to unlock the box that had the money in there, because there was already the money was already in there. So for example, if you're somebody who has a digital business, if you have digital products you have coaching, you have different offers available, those offers are just sitting there, and you've probably got up to 10 to 15 or even $20,000 worth of product that you could put out there and make in the next week. If you really think about it, if you have a digital business, even if you don't have a digital business and you have some physical products that are available for sale, but yet you haven't been trying to sell them, that if you are trying to make $10,000 or $5,000, you're manifesting this, you don't know where the money's going to come from as well. You don't know where the money's going to come from. And truly, how the money comes in is really none of your business anyway. It's none of your business. It's not so much about the how, it's about making a decision. In this particular story, Maya, she got the $10,000 because, she made a decision, she said her affirmations, she started to believe it eventually, and she took inspired action. She took inspired action in the form of sending out proposals to former clients and all of that. So she did take some action. But she might have received that money in a different way. Because she was priming her subconscious mind and she had claimed that money already, in her mind, it hadn't come through in 3D reality yet, but it was in her mind, that money might not have come through from her sending out proposals. It might have come in a different way. So did you see how that collaborator from months ago, who she collaborated with on the course, see how that money came in from that? She didn't really think about that initially. She wasn't thinking about, this previous collaborator is going to come and he's going to say, you have some money in your affiliate account, and sent it to her. She was thinking about, okay, I've sent out this proposal, this is what's going to help me. I'm going to most likely make the money from freelance contracts. That's what she was initially thinking. So she made half of the money from freelance contracts, and she made the rest of the money through this collaboration and some other sales, digital product sales and things. But initially, the main thing was making the money from the digital product sales and from the freelance work. But she actually made half of that money from the collaboration that she did months ago. So it shows you that often it's not about the how, it's about when, and the decision that you make, to fully train your mind to believe that this thing is already yours. This amount of money is already yours. So in the weeks that followed, she kept the practice, not out of urgency, but out of discipline. I am supported, opportunities move toward me, and my work creates value. She noticed that repetition reduced mental noise, and it built familiarity around outcomes she once considered that were distant. The statements stopped feeling like wishes, and they began to feel like expectations. The experience changed how she viewed manifestation, and it no longer felt mystical, it felt neurological. The mind responds to repetition, attention shapes behaviour, and behaviour influences outcomes. The foreclosure notice no longer sat on her table, and instead the small card with her affirmation remained in her wallet. A reminder that steady focus can direct fear into movement. She did not describe the month as a miracle, she described it as alignment. $10,000 arrived through contracts, collaboration and creation, but the real shift began the morning she chose repetition over panic, and that choice changed everything. So this is a story about my friend who manifested $10,000 in order to prevent her home foreclosure. Her name isn't Maya. That's just the name that I use for this story to be able to tell it. But she gave me the permission to go ahead and tell her story, because a lot of the time people think this whole money manifestation stuff or manifestation is all just lies, doesn't work, it's a scam or whatever it is. But you know what? You are the operant power of your reality, and you have the power to change absolutely anything. You have the power to turn around any situation. I mean, obviously, within reason, within reason. But you have the power. You have the power, and what's stopping you right now might be the decision to claim what is already yours, making that strong and steadfast decision. This thing is mine. 50,000, 100,000, 200,000, whatever it is, this thing is mine. Making that redemptive decision. This is mine. You know, often the thing that prevents people from making decisions is fear of. There's some kind of fear there. There's a lot of overthinking as well. There's other people's opinions, maybe. There's nervous system deregulation. There's trauma. You know, it's all well and good just telling someone, "I will just make a decision to do this," or to make a decision to manifest this amount of money, but you might be someone who has faced so much trauma that it's difficult for you to actually condition your mind, because the trauma is something that needs to be dealt with. You need therapy. You need deep therapy. You might need a lot of subconscious work, mindset training. You might even need to do cognitive behavioral therapy and things like this in order to clear away all the clutter for you to begin that process of priming your subconscious mind. I really hope this inspired anyone who's listening. I really appreciate it. And I have a link in my bio for my 33 Digital Abundance Challenge. I would love it if you were to join. We have a Discord group for it, and it would be great if you would connect with me on that. And we'll take it from there. Take care. Tomorrow is day 13 of the 30 days of robotic affirming. And this evening I might do another stream where I'm just writing out my robotic affirmations. So we'll see how that goes. If I do have the time, I'll do that. If not, then tomorrow I will be doing a robotic affirmations, speaking out robotic affirmations for my stream. And it will be focusing on money, on manifesting money. So I might set that up for tomorrow so you guys can enjoy it. Take care. Bye.